Hey up YouTube, so in this video today guys, I start off with a little bit of backstory. I was listening to one of Reese's vlogs and he was talking about a episode or a video from the Merry Gardener. Never heard of the bloke, and I thought, oh, because he'd mentioned a certain bit about when customers moaned about the previous gardener, you know, letting them saying, oh, I've been let all this, you know, we've all heard it. And I thought, oh, I listened to that, and actually what it was an interview with Chris, the country cottage gardener, that's it. And I was doing a job and I just started, and I knew I was going to be there for an hour, 2 hours, so I put it on and listened to it, and I must admit I really enjoyed it. I'll try and tag the bloke in this video if I can. I really enjoyed it, and one of the things that was mentioned, and this is why the title is a group discount, or do you offer a group discount, was it was Chris when he first started, he got in with a bloke who then got him in with another bloke, another woman, but then the downside to that was the pricing was very structured, very rigid, not in his favour, and then trying to get out of that where you had to change the pricing, whatever, and also the fact that if you have to let one go or you possibly annoy one, you might annoy all of them. And I was thinking to myself, I've had that, and that's what I'm going to tell you about in this episode, the group pricing. It's one of them where on paper you think to yourself, that'll be brilliant. You know, if you work for a good customer, you'll get a referral for another good customer. I genuinely think like attracts like. I think nice, caring people have nice, caring friends. Genuinely. You know, generally they do. And then horrible arseholey people attract other horrible arseholey people. I think that's true. I think like attracts like. If you're a horrible person, you'll have horrible people around you. If you're a good person, you'll have good people around you. Maybe there's exceptions, but I genuinely think that is true. And oh my god, that's what happened with mine. So I work for the chap now, and he's like friends with him, but he's got a brain of his own that he can work it out, and he understands how things work. So he introduced me to a lady. Now let's call her Brenda, shall we? I think that will be easier. Now Brenda, when I first met her, she was a little old lady with a husband. Her husband was strange. No, I'm not going to say anything other than that. But Brenda herself seemed a nice lady, and she, when I first started, probably the first season, because I worked for this and this clique for probably 2 seasons and a bit, and then I got rid of Brenda last year, and that was what I mentioned in a video, and this is my 4th season. So yeah, so it spanned probably the end of the first or start of the second anyway. So Brenda started off being a nice lady. She was nice, but there was always an undertone of, so you can see little things. So if somebody has friends around, and then when them friends leave, she comes out and starts moaning about them friends, that's a warning sign in my opinion. So that's what she was, and she was like a little mother bee. She's one of them where I think she thinks that she's a part of the community and she helps the community and all this, and she's mentioned all the money that she gives to charity, but it's always with the skew that, you know, we're doing our bit and we're keeping the lights on for them and all that. And I think that's how she was with me, because quite often, especially the first winter, she says, oh, well, me and my husband, I won't mention your husband's names, let's call him Bill. Says, me and Bill, we've had a chat, and we're gonna keep you going over winter. We want to do our bit to help small businesses like you. One visit over the whole of winter for £20, and she dined out on that for a long time. But anyway, I'm just trying to set the stage here so you can get an idea. Now it so happened with this lady where I charged her £20, and she would say to me, the work, it was £20 an hour, but what it then ended up morphing into, which I think it was sort of her guiding it, was it was £20 per job, and this is how you can bugger yourself. So what ended up happening would be times where she would say, oh, could you come and do the plants for me? Just put some plants in. Yeah, no, I was there 20 minutes, £20. There might be a time where, oh, just do that edge for me. Yep, no problem. And then it was £20, even though it used to take me 40 minutes. And then there was one time where she said, oh, could you paint the shed and the fence? So I painted the shed and the fence. I painted the shed and I painted like half of the fence or something. And it was 2 hours. And I went and he says, oh, she always asked how much to owe you, but she always only ever had a £20 note in her hand anyway. I said, it'd be 40, and her face was like, it's 20. I said, I come here at 12, I left at 2, it's £20 an hour. Well, you've not finished. I says, no, I've still got to finish the rest of the fence. But how long do you reckon you're going to be? And she was picking out. I says, probably another hour. Well, it's going to cost me £60 to just have a fence painted. I says, well, that's the transaction. I told you at the start I charged £20 an hour, and I've been here 2 hours. Oh wow, we'd have thought you'd have looked after us. This is where it starts, where they will get you where you are owing them one sort of thing. Maybe she's thinking, well, I gave him 20 quid for 20 minutes work one day, maybe you should take that into account. Now that's what I did in my head to justify it, because there was times before where I'd do longer and it would always be £20, and that's what I used to justify it in my head. Maybe it's a bit of me, maybe it's a bit of them being a bit crafty wafty. Anyway, so she paid it, but half of the fence was done the last time, but it did I made sure it took an hour, and I rushed it to get it done in the hour. It looked fine, it wasn't a problem, but you could see how this collective behaviour starts affecting you. And what happened was, she said, oh, I've got a good friend of mine. She always moaned about him, by the way, afterwards. Let's call him Charlie, for instance. So Brenda recommended me to Charlie, and I went and priced up his. I said, oh, no problem, I'll go and price it up. And she said something a bit like, oh, well, I've sorted that, or something like that, or you don't need to do that. I'm thinking, well, I don't know what job I'm walking into. But anyway, so I went up and priced it up for him, basically I went up and I told him it was £20 an hour. He goes, oh yes, brilliant, yes, Brenda did mention something about that. I was like, okay then, no problem. But anyway, so we did. I used to work for him as well, and I'll be honest with you, he put me in mind of, you walk into a big corporation and the little security guard thinks he's a CEO. That's what he put me in mind of. He's a very, very, big person, big I am, in a small person, small I am manner. But anyway, this isn't me casting aspersions and adding fat to the fire. This is what I've come to find out since, and it's verified. So anyway, did some work for him. And I remember once he paid me. He says, oh, I won't be here, I'll pay Brenda will give you the money. And I went to Brenda to do the work, and she gave me a letter from Charlie, and it had £20 written. And she goes, oh, you're only charging him £20 an hour. I'm thinking to myself, well, you made sure that's what I'm charging him because you filled him in. She goes, well, we thought you would have charged a little bit more with you going further out your way. I hope this doesn't affect our rate. I'm thinking, what valence is that? And I think basically, by what she'd said, bits of behind the scenes about winter stuff, I genuinely think she was, and this is what Chris mentioned in his podcast, you'd feel like you'd become their property. And I was starting to feel like she was like subcontracting me out at this point. And then another one that happened was, I went round to, she said, oh, my friend needs a hedge cutting. So I rung the woman up, and I won't give her much no name. It's only a one-off. And she says, yeah, no, we've heard all about you. We trust you. Just come and price it. Just come and get it done, and then just pop round for your money. I says, well, I'll price it up for you. Do you want me to drop an invoice through your door? No, we trust you. We know it won't be much. Because it was only a small edge. Anyway, you know, Brenda's told us all about you, all that. And I said, no problem. I said, look, I'll come get it done. I hadn't even seen the hedge at this point. You know, going off what they were saying. I said, I'll come and get it done, and then we'll settle up, you know, when you're back off yardy. Did the edge. It was only a small edge. I think the bill I put in was £35. Anyway, I remember I did the work, and I actually put an invoice in, post through the door. Anyway, I went about a week after. The woman come to the door and said, oh, I'm just here to pick payment. Yeah, no problem. Passed me a £20 note. And I says, it's 35. Oh, is it? I says, yeah. I said, did you not get the invoice? Well, I think my husband mentioned something about it, but Brenda told, and Brenda said it would be £20. And fuck me, this woman was running my garden, well, virtually trying to run this gardening business. And this is what I was saying, she's like some little matriarch, and you don't see it at the time. All this happened over 2 seasons. You don't see, and you see after, but it's a very hard one. And of course, trying to put the prices up, and you know, they were offering regular work. This Charlie bloke, he come up to me, he says, oh, I'm the custodian of a building, I need you to come and give me a price to look at it. And he said something about I've negotiated a couple of hours. And then I didn't think anything about that until when I went and priced it up. And basically I priced up at 150. It was a residential building, an office building at the back, but unbeknownst to me, he only wanted the front doing, which was the residential part. And it was lawn, borders, hedges, you know, he needed a good bottom, it was overgrown. And he says, again, it's the invoice. And he says, oh, I only thought it'd be about 40 quid. Again, it says £20 an hour thing. Admittedly, you know, at the start, you can't, it's gone beyond this, all this has gone beyond me pricing for £20. It's one woman making sure everybody else, you know, whether she's looking after them or she's thinking she's looking after me, but it ended up being hugely, at the point in time, controlling. And I thought, I've had enough of that. And I was starting to realise, and I had enough of this fucking clique, if I'm being honest with you. So I told him, no, it'd be 150. Eventually did the work and did a bit more work, and then there was a disagreement because he said he wanted just a quick tidy up, even though on the text he sent through on a text that it needs a good bottoming, do the same as what you did again, you know. And then after, when I put the invoice in, he says that no, I only asked for, you know, a quick tidy up, you know, just a little bit of work here there. And he actually said a couple of hours, so I think he was thinking for £40. I says, well, no, I says, I didn't hear you say that. I went off the text message, which was the last piece of communication, about me double checking what you needed, and your words were, give it a damn good tidy up, it needs the same as what it was doing before. And then you said about just put the invoice in, and that's what I did. I did what it needed before. So yeah, in the end, I parted ways with Charlie because over that. I just don't want to work with somebody with, you know, stuff like that. I did carry on working for Brenda. The original guy who actually recommended me, again, he's a sensible person, and he understood basically what was going on, and he just kept out of it. But I was able to put his price up every year, and he understands it. And I think him and Brenda had a falling out over it. I don't know, but he never mentions her anymore, and I never ask her, even though they used to be quite good friends. Maybe he's seen the light, I don't know, but Brenda used to moan about everybody, so she's probably moaned about me, and I expect her to moan about me. She was the one where I did the power washing job, where I didn't take the payment for it because I'd cancelled her off, and I just, as I said, I'd rather walk away, because she is the sort of person where she was spoiling for a fight. But it never come to that. I never let it, and I did get the money, and I did get paid. And it's just one of them, and it's amazing how quickly maybe people out there now listening to this are thinking, no, they saw you coming. They did. They really did, but you don't see it. You only see it after. So be very wary of friends recommend. It's an hard one. What do you say? Oh, I won't work for any referrals off a friend. You know, you can't say that, but get out in front of it beforehand. What I should have done now is, you know, stuck to my guns with the pricing. Stuck to my guns with the pricing for the friends. No, it's not going to be £20 an hour, Charlie. It's going to be 25, whatever, to reflect the extra distance. Same with a friend with the hedge. No, Mrs. Such and such. I need to see it to quote it. I know Brenda's filled you in on, you know, my services and what I can offer, but I'll come and I'll price it up and I'll text you the price before we commence the work. But you list, you know, you're going off somebody else's second-hand trust here. None of this has been detrimental. At the end of the day, as much as it was annoying, it was work, and the money was coming in. But it's amazing how people can almost use you and use your business for their own ends. It's terribly infuriating sometimes. But we learn from it, and hopefully we'll make that mistake. So let me know if you've been suckered into it, or and the thing is, you don't get suckered in straight away. This is the thing. It's people, and people know what they're doing. They get in with we're trying to help you, we're trying to be, you know, friend almost. But yeah, that's it. That's my group discount story. I'm going to try and tag this podcast in so you can listen to it, because I thought it was a really good episode. Have a good day, guys.